It's the 23rd of July, and this is your News Bite brought to you by eNCA.com. I'm Marcel Gordon, and in your news today, the Reserve Bank leaves interest rates unchanged, 43 dead in the initiation season so far, and Sports Minister Gayton McKenzie rescues South African hockey's World Cup campaign. South Africans have held their breath, waiting to hear whether the Reserve Bank would hike the interest rates again. Some economists predicted we may be in for the biggest increase in 4 years, with rising inflation and ongoing tensions in the Middle East major influencing factors. Here's Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago.
The committee decided to keep the policy rate unchanged at 7%. 4 members preferred a hold, while 2 favored an increase of 25 basis points. The committee agreed that the outlook is uncertain, and with the rate increase at our previous meeting, the policy stance is appropriate for now, with rates somewhat restrictive.
IDAC head Andrea Johnson's been grilled since starting her testimony at the Matlala Commission. She has faced tough questions of allegations of abuse of power and the unit's investigation into crime intelligence officials. She was also forced to concede to the solicitation from MP Fadil Adams of a Section 27 affidavit against General Mapisa-Nqakula. Here's eNCA specialist correspondent Yusuf Abramji's opinion on Johnson's performance so far.
In simple words, evasive, cagey, defensive, guarded, reserved, I think non-committal, measured, selective to some extent, reluctant, vague, circumspect, unyielding, and I can carry on, Dan.
Yes.
Clearly, she's under pressure. Like we expected on day one, she went through her statements, it was cool and calm, the supplementary affidavit, and yesterday when the cross-examination started, she was clearly under pressure. You are absolutely correct. Allegations of abuse of power. Why those crime intelligence cops were all charged, the whole Section 27 questioning. You remember the referral that was made by MP Fadil Adams. It now emerges that the suspended police minister's office wrote a letter to Andrea Johnson, and she didn't even reply to that letter. There was a draft apparently which the commission even hasn't seen, and there's a lot of questions around whether that particular investigation was justified. Also, the names that came up, so she was under heavy scrutiny, and clearly then, from what we heard yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised that the representations made by General Khumalo and others will be successful, or if they go to court, that case has been completely weakened.
And the hits kept coming today for Johnson, with advocate Sesi Baloyi questioning her over inconsistencies in her evidence before Parliament's ad hoc committee. During that appearance, Johnson indicated she'd received Fadil Adams' Section 27 referral sometime in the middle of December of 2024. It's now emerged at the Commission that she gave authorization for the probe into some senior SAPS officials as early as the 6th of that month.
I must assume that you prepared when you went there. You knew what the issues were. There are terms of reference, as in the question that they are required to deal with, are not very different from what we are dealing with here. So you knew that the referral and your investigation and your arrest of General Khumalo and what General Mkhwanazi said on the 6th of July were at the heart of what they are investigating. So I cannot conceive of a situation where you did not go into your records of how this started. This is what culminates in prosecution. Where did it start? I can't. It's difficult to accept you saying, I did not remember, when in fact a lot happened before the 6th of December. A lot. You activated things. You received a Section 2813 application. You authorized things to be done before the 6th of December. How can you make a mistake? How could you genuinely make a mistake that you received this referral middle of December? It's improbable.
Former security guard Bethwel Cele has spent 3 days on the stand as the state's first witness in the attempted murder and racketeering trial of alleged crime kingpin Vusimuzi Cap Matlala and his 4 co-accused. The defense has accused Cele as the one who shot taxi boss Joe Sebonyone in 2022. Advocate Annelien van den Heever is Matlala's lawyer. During her cross-examination, she's pointed to inconsistencies in the 3 statements Cele gave to police, arguing that his version of events has changed over time. Here she is questioning Cele with the help of the court translator.
When that crime scene was examined, not a single 9mm spent cartridge was found on that scene.
Ngithanda ukuthi wena mnumzane uma ngenkathi le indawo leya yesigameko ibekade ihlolwa azange kutholakale nayo yinye ibhobolonda le sibhamu emibili.
Hayi amampunge lawo.
Those are nice.
You say it's lies. Why? Because you pointed it out to the police and saw them collect it, or why?
Ungani uthi amampunga ngoba wena wakhombile amaphoyisa wabona amaphoyisa aqoqa lo bufakazi. Ungani manje uthi
amanga ngoba mina ngangifithi 9mm.
It's a lie because I was in a position of a 9mm.
And according to you, you pointed it out to the people that were there, the police. Where you were lying, where you were shooting. So if they went there, you agree with me, they should have seen your 9mm cartridges and collected.
Elsewhere in the country's courts, a second witness is set to testify in the corruption and money laundering trial of former National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. UDM leader Bantu Holomisa appeared as the state's first witness. He testified that in March of 2021, he raised concerns over allegations that an SANDF contractor had made questionable payments amounting to 5 million rand to Mapisa-Nqakula, who was defense minister at the time. 43 men have died during this initiation season, according to the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, with Mpumalanga and the Eastern Cape recording the highest number of fatalities. Illegal initiation schools continue to carry the blame for many of these deaths, with young initiates allegedly subjected to abuse, neglect, and unsafe circumcision practices. Let's listen to Eastern Cape historian Velwane Mpikashe.
The most important factor that contributes to this is that the initiates go to the school without being prepared, adequately prepared. They are told stories that they don't have to drink water, yet that is against biology. And of course, even in terms of our thought processes, there is a little bit of water that the initiates must take. So that is the main problem. The second problem, and that is most devastating one, is that during the first 7 days when the initiates are there, they must be closely monitored so that you check whether there are not dehydration problems.
Further afield now, members of the UN Security Council will soon consider who will succeed António Guterres as the next Secretary General. And you'll never guess who US President Donald Trump wants to nominate. Or maybe you will, given their love-in over the last few weeks. Yes, President Trump wants FIFA boss Gianni Infantino to captain the whole entire United Nations. While FIFA is a large billion-dollar organization with more members than the UN, Mitch McCann reports for eNCA that perhaps Trump believes his buddy is just the disruptor the global body needs. Just imagine the General Assembly covered in sponsorship billboards, although a yellow and red card system may come in handy in the Security Council.
Gianni Infantino spent months lavishing praise on President Trump, handing the World Cup across the Resolute desk, awarding him the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize, and even inviting him to present the trophy to the tournament winners, Spain, where it seemed Mr. Trump was happy to awkwardly linger on the stage after handing it over. And now, in return for Infantino's compliments, kudos and awards, Mr. Trump may be willing to back FIFA's boss for a new role, UN Secretary General.
I think the large majority of the diplomatic community are not taking this comment seriously, partially because President Trump is known to make comments that then are not necessarily followed up with policy action, but also because we already are pretty far in the SG selection process.
The New York Post says it's spoken to a source close to the president, who says Mr. Trump believes that Infantino is respected by everyone around the world and recognises he has a special ability to bring people together. The race for Secretary-General is underway right now, with 6 experienced diplomats and UN heads competing for the endorsement of the Security Council and the UN General Assembly. It's unclear if Infantino is even aware that Mr. Trump might like to see him in the role, but he would technically be eligible.
Technically, it absolutely could happen. It is not too late, even though the process is already underway. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if later in the process you see more candidates declare themselves.
In other news we're keeping an eye on, a manhunt is underway for suspected cash-in-transit robbery suspects after police recovered firearms and a hijacked vehicle in Daveyton on the East Rand. Authorities say the suspects are linked to a number of serious and violent crimes across the province and managed to evade arrest during the raid on Wednesday night. Billionaire businessman and CAF President Patrice Motsepe has dismissed any notions of him becoming the next president of South Africa. Speaking at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations press briefing, he said the country has enough leaders capable of taking it forward. Onto the world of sports now, and Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Gayton McKenzie has approved 3 million rand in funding for South Africa's national hockey team's World Cup campaigns in August. The decision follows widespread criticism after players revealed that they would have to help fund their own trips to the tournament in Belgium and the Netherlands. McKenzie stressed that the funding is a once-off intervention in the national interest and should not be seen as a long-term solution to the financial challenges facing national sports federations. The Proteas netball team will open their Commonwealth Games account against Malawi in Glasgow on Saturday. It's the biggest assignment yet for coach Gianni Infantino and assistant coach Zanele Mdodana. The Proteas are in Pool A, along with world number 1 and number 3, Australia and England, as well as Northern Ireland and Tonga. Now, improving their world ranking is always on the team's agenda, but Van Dijk and Dodana say they have their eye firmly on making the Commonwealth Games semi-finals.
So we are covering all our bases, but we know that if we get to a semi-finals, we can get to a finals and we can get into a middle position. So we're gunning for the semi-finals at this stage, and that means we need to beat one of the 2 strong England and Australians that's ranked higher than us, and it's something that we can do.
We are so blessed to have had the opportunity to play in the top 4 countries in the world, and we understood that it's a tough journey. It's a difficult one, but the players also understood that if we are going to beat the best teams in the world, we need to be able to play against them, and we need to be competitive against them. Yes, we had losses against like number 1 and number 2, but close encounters. And we did a fantastic job against England, and England happens to be in our pool, and they're one of the teams that we need to beat in order to secure a semi-final spot for us.
And that's how we wrap today's News Bite. For developments on these and more, keep an eye on eNCA.com and DSTV Channel 403.